Petroleum retention license for Pandora awarded. Selected oil palm blocks to receive facelift. And gas agreement delay to be extended. Good evening and welcome. This is Sunday's news. I'm Kilawani. The government has given the petroleum retention license for Pandora to Kumul Petroleum Holdings following recommendation by the Petroleum Advisory Board. Petroleum Minister Karanga Kua says the license PDL 47 was awarded to Kumul Petroleum after it met all financial, technical and social requirements.
The Pandora PRL, formerly held by Talisman, expired in 2018. The other licenses for Kimu, PRL 48, Barikewa, PRL 49, and Uramu, PRL 50, were all awarded to Kumul Petroleum in April this year. These gas fields contain a total reserve of 2 trillion cubic feet.
We have developed a procedure for the first time that will kill the concept of back-in costs. That's the first big benefit. Those are small licenses, but the principle behind it is so important to the state because in the future we're going to be saving immense costs.
Under the new scheme, where the license is given to Kumul Petroleum, the state will not buy back equity, where in the past it has become a practice where the developer receives the petroleum resources free of charge upon the granting of a petroleum development license.
In the words of the Prime Minister, take back Papua New Guinea. What does it mean? What does take back Papua New Guinea mean? It means different things to many different people. But one interpretation is you try to maximize opportunity for Papua New Guineans. And in the petroleum sector, you try to maximize the benefits and the returns to Papua New Guineans for the harvesting of petroleum on our land.
With the resource and license now under Kumul Petroleum, it places the state in a position where it can sell out portion of licenses to other developer and make money from it. Meanwhile, Kumul Petroleum has welcomed the government's decision to award the 4th license.
In this case, it's a 5-year license. So in year 1 of the license, you have to do this. In year 2, you have to do this. In year 3, you have to do this. So it's about maturing that field or license. And maybe in year 5, they expect you to drill a well. Something like that. So those are conditions that come with the license. So what has been granted is an offer, and also the license conditions in draft are also with it. So we will look at it, and the next step is then for Kumul to say, okay, we will meet this. So we pay our fees, everything, and then the license conditions we accept it. So we will give them an acceptance letter back to the department, and the department will then grant us the final license.
Kumul Petroleum's commercial plans include inviting joint venture partners and technical service providers with technical and financial capabilities to assume critical roles in the development of these gas fields.
It's a challenge for Kumul Petroleum because we are in the front now. We control 100% of these licenses now. It is now it's now on us to commercialize it.
Theklagunga, National EMTV News.
Oil Palm Industries Corporation has commenced rehabilitation work at selected oil palm blocks in New Ireland, Milne Bay and Northern Provinces, thanks to the Marpe government's price support and intervention program. Oil Palm Industries Corporation's General Secretary Kepsen Pupita said the rehabilitation work at these locations was vital to increase production and interest. Mr. Pupita was in Popondetta recently to inspect some of the work carried out by youths.
A 30-minute drive outside Popondetta town is Igora Isivini, an oil palm station set up by the Oil Palm Industries Corporation, or OPIC. The oil palm blocks were set up just around the time PNG got its independence. Majority of the block holders here are originally not from Northern Province. They were part of schemes that allowed them to purchase blocks of oil palm and settle in the province in order to feed the milling companies. It has been 46 years, and due to many factors, production from the smallholder blocks have declined.
Long plan. So, mi pla waiting this now by suppose I'm going to drop go down by pla. Tok no sem all by come kill him no sem planning new plan.
Similar arrangements have been done in many of the oil palm provinces. While a PAP funding in 2018 is now addressing road concerns as one of the major factors affecting production, many youths have lost interest in working the blocks. In Igora Isivini, some of their concerns were highlighted to the Oil Palm Industries Corporation General Secretary Capsen Pupita when he visited the blocks on Friday.
OPIC officers, their job is to monitor, check every house. Suppose a peddler just simply be a house, whose fault is that? So, time one block caretaker arrangement or one block next of kin, every sub block blown was putting more emphasis. Suppose you make a pipe picking in it. You don't blow me, and blow Papa. Emi Lucy, Emi walk about like Papa, you had cut him. Papa, worry now round one is out.
Mr. Pupita said while their concerns are genuine and of great importance, it will take a little more time to get everything in order, especially the revised OPIC Act, to fully address some of their concerns.
OPIC can start finish lo mood lo change. Next year or Narbla year.
But with a 2 million kina funding from the current government through the Price Support and Intervention Program, an immediate task is rehabilitating the blocks.
The blocks that were overgrown by vegetation were for Alatau, Oro, and KVN. These are small projects that are not given much attention. The two bigger projects, Oskins and Biela, they are well managed. The companies assist, so they are okay.
On Friday, 35 youth groups from smallholder farms received their first payment to clean the blocks.
Me working this program na talk. Youths by you working this work. Because me like empowering youths. Time you working this work now. And me like you must have block employee.
Program ya kam me looking am right straight. Upkeep block and sambla me looking sambla block where no stop low standard. And bakam back and no standard. No narabla side me looking all youths where kind of sample blow or neglect or some all just stop around nothing me bla involve him also. Now all got work lo make him now.
Pupita said this is not a failed investment as it will generate more export revenue in return.
From the 851 hectares that we have rehabilitated, we can be able to bring in 9.32 million in the next 12 months in terms of export earnings. And out of that, using the current figures, including FFB price of 529.89 milkgate price, we can be able to pay in the next 12 months 5.74 million. You see, that's just basically from the 2 million that was.
Apart from the oil palm block rehabilitation program in New Island, Milne Bay and Northern Province, funds were used to purchase motorcycles for extension officers and a vehicle for Northern Province to assist with the replanting project as most palms have reached their economic lifespan of 25 to 30 years. Shamit Boreambe, National EMTV News.
The state negotiating team has withdrawn from the discussion table after developer Twinza Oil PNG Limited refused to sign a confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement as advised by the state solicitor. This means the delay in reaching a gas agreement will be extended.
Discussions between the state negotiating team and the developer, Twinza Oil Limited, is far from over. In August, Twinza Oil released 4 separate media statements claiming incompetency on the part of the state. The recent statement was released on August 24th with the headline, Pasca A gas project yet to be finalized despite instructions from the Minister for Petroleum. The very next day, August 25th, Petroleum Minister Karenga Kua told MTV News the state halted discussions awaiting Twinza to sign a confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. But Minister Kua says Twinza Oil has refused to sign that agreement.
They've refused to sign. Twinza has refused to sign. So what the state has done is to withdraw. The state has decided to withdraw itself from the negotiations.
Twinza Oil PNG Limited and the state has concluded discussions for the Pasca A gas project located 95 kilometers offshore in the Gulf of Papua. The total project cost is estimated at $2.4 billion, and if all goes well, the first shipment of liquefied petroleum gas will be in 2025. But it is taking longer than expected to conclude discussions on the gas agreement.
With Twinja's continuous and incessant forays into the media, talking the negotiations up, talking it down, talking individuals up, talking them down, making disparaging comments about the integrity of the independent state of Papua New Guinea with the view to trying to discourage the name and credibility of this sovereign nation. Now, these kinds of things are unacceptable to any nation, and we don't accept it. We don't accept it.
In July, both parties announced the setting of a new commercial benchmark, where the state take is 55%. While that remains the focus of the resource-sharing benefits, the PNG government says the only way forward would be to bring all decision makers from the developer side to the discussion table, where all legal issues can be sorted out quickly. A suggestion that was also raised by Prime Minister James Marape in an earlier press conference.
Just want Twinza to get it correct. If they're serious about this project, the state negotiating team is here ready anytime. One of the Twinza guys should jump on a plane, get into Port Moresby, talk to us face to face, and we isolate all these other peripheral issues, go to the substantive issue. We're ready to give them license anytime. We just cannot be running around like this, Sometimes they may not have money in their pockets to develop this project. So we want them to come into the country and talk to them like Barry came into the country.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. When we come back, we bring you a closer look on gender-based violence in the National Capital District. Welcome back to the news. Among many forms of violence in the world today and in Papua New Guinea, gender-based violence stands out to be a serious and complicated issue for the government, private sector, NGOs, churches, families and individuals to deal with on a daily basis. Whilst women and girls are often the victims, the motives behind the perpetrators' actions are also of concern from social and economic perspectives. Here's Dennis Oere with this week's A Closer Look on Gender-Based Violence in the National Capital District.
In a largely male-dominated cultural society that is easily reflected in the people's representation in Parliament, Papua New Guinea has had difficulties dealing with the issue of gender-based violence. Speaking on the occasion of National Women's Day this year and in addressing GBV issues in NCD, Governor Powes Pakop stressed the seriousness of the issue.
And while we are inundated by the COVID-19 pandemic, it's important that we continue to address the status of women in our country, because this is a major human rights and development issue. The extent of disparity, inequality disempowerment, injustice that continue to be faced by women and girls of our country is still very, very high and very, very wide in terms of parity between the genders.
And in the National Capital District, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Pakop said according to statistics, the issue is escalating. NCDC, in collaboration with Port Moresby Chamber of Commerce and Industry and UN Women, launched the establishment of a legal help desk on the occasion to help women in having their cases prosecuted. The issue has been a crisis in itself, although not recognized by many. Ruth Beriso from the NCDC GBV Secretariat highlighted a few statistics to provide a broader picture of the scale of the issue.
70,000 women in NCD alone are being affected by GBV, and they have reported cases. Only 6% made it through to police and through to the justice system. So,
the latest spate of incidents of rape and abduction in the city include a 15-year-old girl being abducted and allegedly raped in the Hohola area after getting on a PMV bus. Another incident involves a woman in her 20s catching a taxi at Gerehu in trying to go to downtown for church service via Baruni Back Road. She escaped an abduction and rape attempt by the taxi driver by jumping off the taxi and finding help.
We have a lot of cases being reported, but it comes back to, women need to have confidence. They need to feel that they have something to look forward to. They have to feel that support at the back of them, and that's not present at the moment. So,
various organizations have raised concerns following these incidents, questioning the public transport system used in the city. A large group of women initiated a protest march as a result to take a stand and fight against gender-based violence from the Kone Tigers Oval to Parliament House.
I voted for you, Pakop. Where are you?
Prime Minister James Marape and other parliamentary leaders eventually turned up to address the women on GBV issues.
And it needs all our men in our society to really rise up and step up for your country. It's no good if you feel happy that Kumul is playing and you support Kumul or support Justin Olam or support the concept about fighting back to take back more from Pogra and all our resources when you don't have some of the foundational issues right in your setting at home, at community, at suburb, in our villages and in our provinces right throughout our country.
We'll also get permission from the Prime Minister to ensure this happens. So we will start dealing with this on the ground. We have a national GBV, but that's on a national level. On the electorate level, we will set up the Port Moresby Northwest GBV Secretariat, and we will start dealing with these issues.
We are not supposed to be restricted. Currently now we are restricted from moving about freely. It's enshrined in our constitution on our freedom of movement. We have a transport system here that's one of the most transport systems in the world. And I've raised this in government caucus. If NCD can't and Road Transport Authority can't manage this bus service in the city, you give it to the provincial government and we will show you how to run it.
Some things were promised by the Prime Minister to help address the situation in NCD, including the CCTV initiative that, although has been part of plans, has not effectively been implemented in the city, and the establishment of family and sexual violence unit counters at every suburb police stations around the city. As part of providing solutions or at least guide those victims of GBV or generally women and girls in public, churches have been seen as a vital player. A women's conference called the King's Daughters Conference was held at Reverend Sioni Kami Memorial Church recently to empower women in identifying and living their true purpose in God from a spiritual perspective.
My session was about spiritual maturity, knowing your place in the Lord. And when we begin to impart that knowledge to our young daughters and our mothers in the community, in the families, they will begin to give guidance, proper guidance, advice to the daughters and sons in the home. And also, if mothers are involved in the ministry, that the blessings and the giftings of the ministry is a blessing for the home too. And so when the family, we were talking about families, when the family is right, the community is right, the nation is right.
Betty Messina is a retired pastor's wife with the United Church in Papua New Guinea. She has been an active speaker on women's issues in the church, particularly from the spiritual point of view in light of GBV issues.
The way of our dressing also reveals some half-nakedness. And that also is attributing to the escalating of this immorality that is happening on the land. Genuine dressing, if we are a woman of God, if we are girls in the ministry, our dressing must reflect that you're a child of God. You're a woman of God, you're a woman of substance, you're a woman of prayer. It also involves our dressing, our attitudes and our behaviors in how we react and how we do things. And so when we begin to see things in the communities that we live, open your mouth and speak and address it.
Other women also spoke during the conference, expressing their views about the issues affecting women and girls, particularly in the form of violence, and for women to find their true identity in God.
We have a very strong family and sexual violence unit that's based at National Capital District Administration. And that need to be supported, and that service need to reach out to a lot of women. And we need to have a place where women can go and get counseling. That's not being provided for.
Like our topic for this conference is King's Daughter Son. So when you look at the word king is somebody that is up there. So when we claim that we are the daughters or Pikinini from king, then we are somebody. We have whatever the king has in his palace. We are Yumigat Olgata Raita.
On the first night of the conference, a panel of professional women shared some of their experiences of being part of broken family relationships and other difficult experiences as women, but shared their successes in overcoming challenges too, thus inspiring other women in similar situations.
The power to really enter into the blessings of the kingdom is true forgiveness. You know, a lot of times we hold bitterness. Bitterness is what holds or closes the doors of blessing into our lives.
And that was the time that I started getting into very deep prayer. Like I just couldn't see myself coming out of this, so I went into prayer. And I think the turning point for me was towards the back end of last year. So first of all, it wasn't just bad enough that I lost my husband. Soon afterwards, the place where I was working actually got shut down. And so I found myself unemployed for a whole year.
Aside from looking at the victims of GBV, which in many cases has been women and girls, many have raised questions on the motives behind why the perpetrators enforce violence. Family relationship issues, unemployment, cultural barriers, and many other reasons have been identified as some of the main causes of GBV. EMTV News spoke to community leaders and unemployed youths at 9 Mile this week to find out. And youth unemployment is a major contributing factor in this area, resulting in youths roaming around aimlessly on the streets and resorting to many forms of criminal activities, some of which involve GBV. On a positive note, the youths have now decided to keep away from being involved in this and do positive things for the community by way of doing volunteer youth work, cleaning up public places and ensuring movement of women and girls as well as male counterparts is safe.
Now me blow Magilo 9 Mile. Now me established here almost 33 years now. And then now 9 Mile I'm been established too dark. Now people are looking for some people highway come now place me change. Ye to this level magi we established backside them. Bible harem some plenty all news law and this la country too. Also put in 9 Mile and go front line. Now even the Mumbai squad staff, dog unit staff also like lost. Tram na put him going down. All some like all criminal activities, even or rascal. Or steal, drug, rape, kaya sa come up 9 Mile. So, time la looking mo sa this la Sunday come up, change me come. Na police na working all some like all institution law, CIS, all
like come solving the problem, but I'm hard here.
For the past first half of this year, 2021, go back the previous years, the animal community got very high crime rate. Safe all community members, especially all mama, all susa, nor Mary Brimble go about drown. Lately I've been go bagarap bogata. So all, especially youths, all young mangi community yet, all been stable 9 mile yet, all take ownership volunteer change him community, make it a better place.
Providing opportunities for the unemployed and for those in need is an area for the government and relevant authorities to continue to address whilst simultaneously dealing with GBV victims. So whilst the GBV crisis mostly affecting women and girls in NCD is far from over, educating and providing for the men or the perpetrators of violence also calls from the flip side.
This is Sunday's news. More stories when we come back. Welcome back. The Season 6 Men of Honor Awards campaign is taking another step, partnering with PNG Air. This was announced at a news conference confirming PNG Air's support in providing logistics for judges to travel across the country for interviews with nominees and to do quality checks. The Men of Honor Awards was launched on the 27th of August to allow members of the public to nominate ordinary men who are doing extraordinary things to build peace in their communities.
The Men of Honor campaign is aimed at recognizing men who promote peace and eradication of violence in their communities. The nominees are judged according to their active participation in areas of peace building and their bravery in addressing violence. The judges for the Season 6 Men of Honor campaign are Attorney General Dr. Eric Kwa, Dr. Fiona Hukula, Eddie Ayla, and Ruth Kisam. This year, 4 awards will be given to one man from each region in PNG who are doing work to build peace in their community and alleviate human suffering. Recently, EMTV has been reporting on GBV cases. Some men joined in the recent protest to raise awareness against violence in the country. The Season 6 Men of Honor campaign judging will now be supported by PNG Air as the official airline partner.
So we're happy to come on board as the airline partner, and we'll be our side of the sponsorship is to provide return tickets to the team with the judges to go out and do interviews with the nominees. And then we also have the sponsorship to bring in the nominees into Port Moresby for the awards night. And we've also supported it even further by giving each nominees from each categories an FOC ticket for 2 on anywhere on our destination.
The awards will be given on the 10th of December to commemorate International Human Rights Day. Podivai National EMTV News.
We bring you Trukai Sports after these messages.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Since its establishment in 2020, the Cocky Basketball League has been one of the major events played in the Moresby South electorate. The competition, which started last Sunday, was hosted at the Cocky Fitness Centre.
The Cocky Basketball League has been keeping the Flames lit as the competition has reached out to 10 areas to participate in the competition itself. Now approaching the second round, the basketball competition is proud to have support from the Moresby South MP, Honourable Justin Chichenko. Patron and president of KBL, Jelon Auma, explained that the competition is divided into 2 divisions, which comprise of senior men's and the under-20 divisions respectively.
So our teams here in these competitions are like 10 teams. We have very grades and big grades. So mostly these teams are from Koki itself, inner and outer of Koki. So last year's game was a very successful one.
The competition has also seen a positive influence as youth from the Koki area actively participate. President Auma confirmed that there will also be a women's division by next season.
Yeah, right now it's for males only. Ladies competition will be coming on soon after this.
Initially supported by the Mosby South MP and associated with PNG Basketball Federation, the competition has been having a lot of support from nearby business houses as they continue into the season.
We got sponsors from other business houses here, and also the major one is from our member, like I said before, Honorable Justin Tachenko, and Governor for NCD, Honorable Paus Papa.
Jamie Harrow, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. We take a look at the weather when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Southern region, Port Moresby, mostly fine and windy. Daru, partly cloudy and windy. Kerama, partly cloudy with brief afternoon showers. Alotau, mostly fine, partly cloudy. And Popondetta, few showers, then partly cloudy morning. For the Momase region, Ley, cloudy periods with rain showers. Medang, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Wewak, mostly fine, partly cloudy with morning brief showers. Vanimo, mostly fine. New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, mostly fine. Kavieng, partly cloudy with few showers. Kokopo, Robal and Buka, partly cloudy with possible brief showers. Kimbe, occasional showers and possible thunderstorms. For the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka and Kundiawa, partly cloudy with possible brief showers, then morning fog. Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy with showers and possible thunderstorms, then morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Sunday, 5th of September 2021. Until next time, pleasant viewing, great week ahead. Bye for now.